Hey, quick programming note. Michael Hugh, who was a producer for Up in the Air here in St. Louis, is going to be with John Carney later today. He was on stage Sunday night when they handed out the wrong Oscar.
Oh, boy.
He's one of the producers for La La Land. So he's going to be with John Carney a little later today here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Drama.
All right.
Yes.
That other voice is Kat Neville from Feast Magazine. Good morning, Kat Neville.
Good morning.
Before we talk about the restaurants, I was watching Feast TV.
Yes.
And I fell in love with the guy who made the knives.
Oh, yes. Halcyon Forge.
Holy mackerel.
Holy mackerel is right. So he takes like cast off metal that meets certain, chemical requirements, and he hand shapes these knives essentially in his garage. And then he actually hand makes all of the handles as well. The knives are gorgeous. Really? He has a fantastic Instagram account if you'd like to see it, but he does custom orders for chefs. He's in his mid-20s.
Yeah, young guy.
What? Yes.
Yeah.
And he actually has a full-time job at I can't remember, but it's some sort of it's a plant.
Yeah.
And but then he does this. I'm sure that very soon he's going to be, getting rid of his full-time day job and doing these knives.
He puts 10 hours into one knife.
Yes. And he currently has a huge backlog of orders. I mean, people across the country are ordering his knives.
Yeah, really great.
He's amazing.
What town was that in?
Sedalia.
Sedalia. Wow. It was It was really good.
Yep.
Feast TV. All right, Kat Neville. Good to have you here. What are we talking about today?
Thank you. I have two new spots. Well, okay, two new things. Let's do that.
Yes.
First one is New Day Gluten Free is now open in Clayton. Do we want to go over what gluten free is again?
It's
not just carbs.
It's no gluten.
Right, but
Yes.
gluten is in, but we've talked about this before,
Right.
and
Yes, we
so
have.
gluten is only in wheat.
Right.
And so what the folks at New Day are doing, number one, they used to have a location in Ellisville, and they had that for a number of years. They closed it down in order to have a more central.
Is this a bakery that we're talking about?
It is a cafe and a bakery.
Okay.
And so what they do is they really specialize in comfort foods because when you are, and it's also peanut free, so it's gluten and peanut free cafe. One of the owners was diagnosed with celiac disease, and that is an allergy to gluten, and it can be debilitating.
Right.
And so you have to give up a lot of things like traditional breads and traditional pastas and things that like mac and cheese, lasagna, sandwiches, that kind of stuff. And so what they're doing at New Day is they have created their own cup for cup flour replacement, and they make everything in house except for some of their rice flour pastas, and they do mac and cheese, lasagna, biscuits and gravy, all kinds of sandwiches and pizzas. So you really can get those comfort food staples. But one of the things that they do like cakes and cupcakes and that kind of stuff, but they also do catering. And one of the things that I thought was really nice to see is they do wedding cakes.
Oh, yeah.
And things like that. So
all gluten-free.
Yes. So if you are, if you're getting married and you have celiac disease,
you can eat a wedding cake.
Yes, you can order a wedding cake. And so they work on doing those kind of custom cakes, birthday cakes, that kind of stuff, which I thought was a really wonderful thing. So it's in Clayton, and the address is 7807 Clayton Road. And,
what's the name of it again?
New Day Gluten Free Cafe.
Day.
And again, they've been in business for a few years. I think since like 2011 or something like that, in Ellisville. Okay. And now they're more central. And as much as some people are giving up gluten just because
people just feel better.
Right, they feel better. Some people truly do have a need
Yeah.
to remove it from their diet. So this is it's a really wonderful thing.
All right, New Day Gluten Free Cafe, 7807 Clayton Road. I'm moving you along because we got lots to get to, and we're short on time. What's number two?
Number two is also kind of it's a new thing, but it's also not exactly new. So, Four Hands Brewery in the LaSalle Park neighborhood, just south of downtown, fantastic brewery. They have always had, or they've generally had this kind of like food window, and most recently they were partnered with David Bailey, and now guess who is serving up food at Four Hands?
I know.
It's Peacemaker.
I was looking at it.
I know. You're like, no, I know because
I
you told me already.
know.
So Peacemaker, of course, is the absolutely wonderful seafood, I'm doing air quotes, shack in Benton Park. in your neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
And it is helmed by Kevin Nashin, and the chef de cuisine is John Messbarger. And so John has developed a menu for Four Hands that has a number of Peacemaker staples, but then he's also, due to his wonderful German heritage, he's brought on a number of exclusively Four Hands items that are German in flavor, which obviously go well with, beer. So you can get like a brisket po' boy with lettuce and tomato, peel and eat shrimp, chips with remoulade and mussels. All that is, like standard Peacemaker fare. But then a lot of the stuff that they're adding are Four Hands brat with sauerkraut, roasted pork sandwich with smoked Gouda, more sauerkraut, and a cherry stout mustard. They're adding a lot of fun beer items into the food. A chocolate milk stout glazed nuts with companion pretzels. They have like rarebit on the menu now, and like a beer cheese soup. So it's really, really fun.
Right.
And I live near Four Hands, so it's kind of like my neighborhood haunt. So I am really, really thrilled about this new menu. And I know that that the guys at Four Hands at Peacemaker, they have been friends for a long time, and there is Four Hands makes a beer for Peacemaker, and so this is kind of a natural extension of their relationship. And if you've never been to Four Hands, the address is 1220 South 8th Street, again in LaSalle Park. It's like walking distance to Busch Stadium.
Is it true that they call it Four Hands because the husband was kind of handsy when they first went on the date?
No.
Oh, okay.
Really? Oh my God.
Sorry.
I'm just going to say a flat
That
no
would be no.
to that.
All right, fair enough.
It's his family.
Okay.
So he's got, it's his wife and his kids, it's the whole, so
All right.
yeah, but it's...
Got a bunch of hands.
I thought it
He's
was
a-
a
I don't
rumor.
think Kevin is not, Kevin would never be handsy.
I'm glad you clarified the rumor. That's all.
Was it a rumor that you're trying to start here today?
It was that fake news stuff that people are talking
Right.
about. All right, I want to get to this because Feast Magazine has their dairy issue,
Yes.
which is really, really good. I can't wait to
Thank you.
dissect these stories. So give us a quick sense of what's in here.
Okay, so the reason why we wanted to do a dairy issue, number one, is that you have so much identity with a lot of these like farmers and ranchers and people that produce a lot of food, but dairy oftentimes doesn't have that like identity on
Right.
it, and we have tons of amazing.
Yes.
Cheese makers and milk producers, yogurt makers, all of this kind of stuff in our region. And so we've dedicated the entire issue to that. We have a cooking feature on all different kinds of dairy products and with suggestions of local cheeses and sour creams and all this kind of wonderful stuff that you can use. We have a profile of Dr. Cheese, which is Neville McNaughton. And we didn't pick him because his first name is my last name. But he does consulting for the dairy industry nationwide, and he's based here in St. Louis. And we also have profiles of all of these different dairy, like cheesemakers, and then we also have a feature on the challenges facing the the dairy industry, which is very important because a lot of what you're seeing right now, we're experiencing some of the lowest prices for commodity dairy, like for co-ops and things like that in recent history, and it's really putting a strain on the industry, and that's one of the reasons why we're seeing folks like, for example, the cover has this really cute cow, and that is a cow from Rolling Lawns Farms, which is I believe, 4-generation farm in Southern Illinois. And they recently switched from providing their milk to a local co-op to branding their own milk and building their own brand, which will help to save essentially the dairy farm.
Well, and they actually throw out a lot of milk because it only stays fresh for so long.
Yep.
And not enough people drink milk, and milk is great, and I love milk, and so I can't wait to devour and
You're a big milk drinker.
drink the entire issue.
Enjoy. And we did this for you, McGraw.
Just for you.
Feastmagazine.com. Pick it up everywhere. You can also get it, subscribe to it, and get it delivered right to your house.
Yep.
Kat Neville, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kat.
849, Big 550, KTRS.